what's up, guys? Got another new video here for you. This is Tuned in Sports. My name's Bryson.
Bennett.
And we've got the Week 14 NFL preview coming out here for you. A lot of exciting action to look forward to in this coming week's games. And we're going to go ahead and get into it and break it down for you guys.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start with the teams of the people that aren't here, and then we'll kind of break down what our teams are doing.
Yes. So we're going to go ahead and start with the
Lions. Let's start with the Lions.
Yeah, the Lions. So they've got a game at 1 or the afternoon at 4 o'clock Eastern.
They're at home against
the Green Bay Packers. You know, I know something about facing the Green Bay Packers. We're coming off a loss to them last week.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think the Lions will be coming off a loss to them this week because I don't unfortunately see them winning. You know, I think Green Bay. You know, if I'm a Packers fan, which I'm not, but if I was a Packers fan, you know, this is a game that you need to win. The Lions are struggling this year, and you know, you're trying to get the best record possible. You're not out of contention for the number 1 seed, you know, because the number 1 seed is held by the Saints, who are 10-2, and you're 9-3.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the Saints, you know, I mean, they still got some tough opponents left. For at least in their division, you know, there's a lot of difficult teams in their division that are not easy out. So, I mean, I feel like it's not a wrap that the Saints are going to finish as the 1 seed. And so I feel like as the Packers, this is a game that you have to win on the road against the struggling Lions team. And I feel like they'll get the job done.
Yeah, I mean,
here.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's going to be a tough sledding for the Lions, I think. You know, they managed to get a win against the Bears. I mean, Bears kind of, you know, blew the game in similar fashion to how the Lions blew it to the Bears in Week 1.
Yeah.
I mean, but I just don't see that being the case this week. If the Packers get up, they're not going to give it up like the Bears did. And, I mean, like you said, I mean, the Packers still in conversation for the number 1 seed. So they got something to play for here.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the Lions, they're struggling. I mean, new coach, and who knows what their future is. I mean, Matt Stafford might leave. So I just look at the Lions and I don't think that they really are playing for anything other than draft position.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's tough, you know.
Yeah. It is.
And just playing Green Bay in general is tough. But then you got new coach with his own ideas, and the future is kind of up in the air because you don't have a GM right now. And then, you know, the coach is an offensive coordinator that's filling the role. You don't know if he's going to be there past now or if he's just kind of there for the time being. So there's a lot of things up in the air. But, I mean, like he said, Green Bay really has a reason to play this week. So I think that they're going to win for sure.
Yeah, so
I think it'll be a Green Bay win.
I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close game.
Yeah,
but I do think that Green Bay is going to beat them.
I mean, I definitely think the Lions have enough firepower to play with them in terms of offensively. I mean, the defense hasn't been all that great, but they got a good offense, and I think most teams they can at least be in a game with.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think the Packers definitely are one of those teams.
Yeah, for sure. So, with that being said, let's move on to the next game. You know, like he said, we're going to go ahead and go with teams that of people that are not here yet with Steve and Don, the Dent Sports guys. So, we'll go ahead and get into the Denver game next. You know, they're on the road at Carolina this week. No Christian McCaffrey, but Teddy Bridgewater is back. So, you know, Carolina's a very game team anyways. And I feel like Denver, in some respects, is a pretty game team. Although I feel like their offense is not very good. Carolina's defense is actually performing at a pretty decent level considering all the things that they lost with Luke Kuechly leaving, and retiring. I feel like they're better than I expected them to be.
I mean, same thing could probably be said with the Denver defense,
Oh, yeah, Denver's defense has done great. And really, I kind of put these two teams in a similar
pedestal.
Yeah, I mean, and all you have to do is look at their records. They're both 4-6. But I mean, I kind of look at them both
4-9.
Or yeah, that's what I meant, 4-9. But I mean, they're both got the same record, and it kind of makes sense because I look at both of them as teams that compete generally week to week, but just don't have enough to put them over the top. I mean, heck, Carolina was in a game and, in some respects probably could have and should have won against the Chiefs a handful of weeks ago. And that was without Christian McCaffrey even. So, that was his first week back. But I'm just saying, I mean, they're a game team. So I feel like this is actually going to be a really good game. Even though it's between two teams that have
that great of a record.
Yeah, they don't have a great record, and neither one of them really have any playoff aspirations at this point. But, as far as who I think's going to win, what do you think?
For me, I think I'm going to have to go... Wait, who's at home in this game, actually?
Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, not even for that reason. If you're the Broncos, I think you should be trying to lose this game, actually. Same with the Panthers. Actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, in some respects...
Same situation. I think both these teams should be trying to lose.
Yeah.
But I think somehow, I mean, I'm actually going to have to go with Denver. I think they're going to pull it out somehow.
Okay.
And I very easily could see Don being pissed off about it.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of one of those situations where I think Denver will screw up. They'll win the game.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go with Carolina here. The only reason why I'm picking Carolina, well, I mean, they are at home, which I think helps, but the main reason I'm picking them is because I just look at Carolina, who seems to be a team with a clear direction, who's getting better, who's on the way to much bigger things. This year obviously wasn't everything that they had hoped it could be, but it's also not a surprise. I don't think anybody was going into this season thinking Carolina was taking the division, let alone taking the team to the Super Bowl. Denver, on the other hand, I feel like their same thing can be said. I don't think that a lot of people came in with very high expectations for Denver. Some people did, but with the amount of injuries, if you include the injuries into the equation, it's no surprise Denver's where they're at.
Yeah, exactly.
However, what I will say is I feel like if you were to sit here, or if you were to say to me, look at the team moving forward in the next 5 years, or let's go shorter than 5, let's say 3 years, which team do I think is going to be better? I would say probably Carolina, just simply because I have more faith in their quarterback. So I'm going to pick Carolina here just because I feel like Carolina's a team going in this direction, and Denver is just a team that's kind of, it could go either way,
Yeah, I mean...
And especially, too, with their ownership issues, there's a lot of fighting in the upper management going on, and just, is Drew Lock the guy? Is he not? I feel like it could go a lot of different directions.
Yeah.
And so I would say, as it sits right now, Carolina's kind of going in the upward, and Denver's kind of in the
And yeah, I mean, and not only that, but I mean, Denver just, I mean, especially this year, just hasn't had luck with staying healthy. And I could very easily see that being a problem over these next couple seasons. I mean, it's the same case with a lot of our teams up on this channel.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Eagles struggle with it. Bengals struggle with it.
Yeah, I would say the
Broncos
Lions
struggle with it.
I would say the Lions are really the
it.
only team that doesn't seem to battle with injuries as much. I'd say they probably have less injuries on the general than we do, than the rest of us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
but
nonetheless, I mean, the rate. I think looking at these two teams going forward, I think I am not necessarily on the same boat. I think provided Denver could get their hands on somebody like Stafford, or maybe that caliber quarterback, man, I feel like they're not far away.
No, I agree with that, but I'm talking about who they have right now.
Yeah, Drew Lock, me personally, I'm not all that sold on him, but
I mean, I'm just saying, like, let's just say that they stick with Drew Lock going into next season, and the Panthers stick with Teddy Bridgewater, and that continues.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we'll see, but I feel like I'm going to take the Panthers. He took the Broncos. So, we'll see what happens. Should be a good game, though. I really do think that'll be a good game. Maybe not a good game because it's between two juggernauts or two great teams, but just a good, solid, competitive game between two teams with a lot of similarities. You know, both of them are generally known for their defense and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
we'll see what happens there. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game. You know, the Bengals have a game against the Cowboys at the 10 o'clock window.
Yeah, speaking
or
of
1 o'clock on the East Coast.
Speaking of two teams that would been, have similar records and teams that struggle with injuries, let's get into the Bengals and Cowboys game. I really don't know on this one. I just feel like, Dalton's returning against us. It's going to be his first game against the Bengals. And honestly, I look for him to play hard. I think he wants to stick it to him. And I wouldn't be really all that surprised if he did. I could very easily see this game not ending up close. I mean, there's just too many injuries on the Bengals side of things. I mean, the defense, I gotta give credit, has performed well over these past couple weeks, but I just don't trust the offense. I mean, Ryan Finley, I think, is going to be playing this week at quarterback, and he's just flipping garbage. I mean, at this point, I would rather have the guy that is on the Broncos right now, Jeff Driscoll. I would rather have Driscoll. As sad as I'm saying.
I'm sure Don would be happy to give him to you.
I'm serious, though. I would rather have Driscoll than Finley. And this other guy that we brought in.
Brandon Allen?
Yeah. I'd rather have Driscoll. I mean, it's pretty sad. I mean, T. Higgins isn't probably going to be playing. He's questionable. It's just...
But Zeke is also listed as questionable for the Cowboy. But
I mean, I'm just saying, just too many injuries on the Bengals side of things. I mean, I just don't know what they're going to do. I mean, as good as the defense can play, seems to be playing as of late, we just don't... the offense plays just as bad. Like, plays, the defense plays well, but the offense plays that, but bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I just, I don't know. To me, I think this game's easily could end up being not pretty if the offense doesn't show up.
Yeah. So who are you taking?
I'm gonna take the Cowboys. I just don't. If anything, I hope we lose this game, just because I want higher draft choice, and I feel like we have a little bit more to work on than the Cowboys do. I feel like, they easily could be contending for the NFC East right now had they been still having Dak and, aren't struggling with injuries. I look at the Cowboys roster and think, damn, they could potentially be pretty dangerous. I mean, same with our roster, too. If we had an offensive line and some pass rush, man, that team could be dangerous if Burrow was healthy. So I don't know. I don't know, but I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Yeah, with this game, I feel like it could really go either way. I mean, like you said, I don't think it benefits the Bengals a bit to win this game, which is part of the reason I think they might. They are at home for this game, which, helps them out some. It's kind of tough. I agree with your assessment, though. I feel like the Cowboys, Andy Dalton's coming back home to Cincinnati on the road, especially in Cincinnati. So it's not gonna be a situation where he's not used to playing there and doesn't know what to expect or anything. He knows exactly what to expect. I feel like he could very easily come out guns blazing and have one of his better performances as a Cowboy. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys here, as much as that pains me to say because I can't stand them. But, at the end of the day, I do think that they probably should win this game.
Yeah, I mean, looking at what the two teams have available currently, I mean, I think I would much rather be in the Cowboys situation. I mean, just like I said, too many injuries on the Bengals side of things.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't know what you're going to do with pretty much playing a backup line. I mean, and, having a bunch of defensive line injuries. A couple of our corners are out. I mean, I just don't know what you're going to do. I mean, I don't know if I see them winning another game.
Yeah.
And in some aspects, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think they should lose. I think they should lose out. And, I mean, truthfully, like we talked about in other videos, I mean, they could easily do it without even really trying to. I mean, they got the Steelers, the Texans, and the Ravens after this. The Steelers and Ravens, even at full strength, you could lose easily.
Well, we did. Well,
yeah.
Actually, I don't know. I mean, I don't think we were exactly at full strength for that game either. But
yeah,
even
but
then,
I
don't think.
No, but I'm saying regardless, I don't think that you're on the same level as the Steelers. Maybe closer to the Ravens, even though I feel like, they had a couple of games slump where they were losing, but I still believe that the Ravens, I mean, the biggest reason why I look at the Ravens and I say that's a team that is dangerous, even though they've done some things that would maybe suggest otherwise, simply boils down to the coach. John Harbaugh is one of the best coaches in this league, in my opinion. And if I could have John Harbaugh as the Eagles coach, I would be so happy because I think that guy is one of the best underrated coaches in this league. I think he frequently gets thrown aside for people like Mike Tomlin and obviously Belichick, and just different guys. And Sean Payton maybe, and I don't know. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that these guys don't deserve their due, but I'm just saying John Harbaugh, in my opinion, is right up there, top 5, and I would even go as far as saying top 3 coaches in the NFL, in my opinion. I believe he's right up there, at the very least, top 5. So I feel, I'm just saying, even though the Ravens, you know, they've got a lot of hype and stuff, and they haven't exactly performed to the level of hype that they've had around them, but simply based on the coach, I believe that they can easily get it figured out.
I mean, I think they're definitely one of those teams that's really underachieved. I feel like they got a lot of talent on that team. I mean, unfortunately, they've had to deal with Lamar being out a couple games and stuff like that. So it's been just one of those
that's
seasons.
right. No, I mean, I agree. They haven't performed to the extent that they have had hype around them. But that's why I'm saying the difference between them and other teams in that scenario is I have full faith in John Harbaugh that he knows what he's doing, whereas other teams, I can't exactly say that. Let's use that as the transition to get into the Eagles. You know, a couple of years ago, 2017, Doug Peterson comes in here and has this offense or whatever, and we're winning a Super Bowl. 3 years later, the only bowl that we're looking at is swirling around the toilet. And it's just, I mean, it's bad. It really is bad. And what it comes down to for me is the coach.
Who are you guys playing?
Oh. We're playing New Orleans.
Oh, God.
At home. We got New Orleans at home this week. And, you know, obviously, I'm pretty sure Drew Brees, you know, he's working towards coming back, but I don't think he's playing this week. So I think it's going to be Taysom Hill again.
Shoot. You know, I don't really care if it's Brees or Taysom Hill. I don't think the Eagles are winning this game. I mean, the Saints actually have a damn good record with Taysom Hill as starting QB. So, yep. I don't look at that and think they're really losing much. I mean, granted, Drew Brees, one of the best QBs, I think, in my opinion, to ever play the game. I mean, that guy's a stud. But he's getting older. So, I think they're not really losing much for having Taysom Hill, who's a younger, up-and-coming QB in there. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I think the Saints easily could blow the Eagles out of the water in this game, if I'm just being honest. I'm not saying I don't give the Eagles a chance, because I think they could win it, but at the same time, I look at what the Saints are playing for and what the Eagles are playing for. I mean, at this point, I don't even know if the Eagles should be winning this game. You know, I think it wouldn't be a bad move for them to get themselves in a better draft spot. Because looking at how like teams like the Redskins and the Giants are playing right now, I don't know if they're on that same caliber with how they're playing.
No, I do. We're not. We're not on that same caliber. So yeah.
So
you're taking the Eagles?
No, I'm taking the Eagles.
With all that being said, the Eagles are winning.
No, I'm taking the Saints, and I look forward to be a double-digit victory.
Yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from there. You know, truthfully, we got Jalen Hurts starting this week. People are jumping up and down, super, super excited to see Jalen Hurts in there. I personally am not a fan of it. You know, I'm a fan of Jalen Hurts. He came from Alabama went to Oklahoma, of course, then went to the NFL, but he started in Alabama. And I'm a fan of his, but I'm just not a fan of throwing him in there over Wentz because I don't believe that Wentz is as bad as he's played this year. I'm not going to be one of those people that sits here and tries to defend how he's played this year by saying, oh, well, if the offensive line was better and blah, blah, blah. Because there's been many of times, well, if you've watched this channel before, I don't have to tell you, where I've talked about Wentz making mistakes like holding onto the ball way too long. So, with that being said, I still think Wentz can be a starting quarterback in this league. I think he can be the Eagles' starting quarterback in this league. However, now, bye.
I think. Yeah.
Now, how are you gonna? I mean, I feel like you've really ruined any and all confidence that he may have had by benching him, and I don't think Jalen Hurts coming in is going to be the difference. I think you've got a lot more problems than simply saying we're losing because of Carson Wentz. We're not. We're not losing because of Carson Wentz. We're losing because of bad offense, which, yes, he has a big part to do with that. But it's not just him. No offensive line play, him holding on to the ball too long, no running game because, partly because of a lack of attempts of actually trying to run. And I just really believe that what it comes down to is two things. These are my biggest two things. Number one, Doug Peterson
is a bad play caller.
Yes, he is not good at calling plays. I do not like how he's used people in the offense, or should I say how he hasn't used people in this offense. And second of all, I don't think if he is going to be the head coach, I don't think that, well, I guess this ties into number one. If he's going to be the head coach, we need an offensive coordinator calling the plays. And if he's not going to be the head coach, or if he is going to be the head coach and the offensive coordinator, we need to fire him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just look at, how he's coaching this team, and I'm like, I mean, granted, they have a lot of injury problems and stuff like that, but...
Yeah, but I mean, we had a lot of injury problems. A lot of our guys are back.
Yeah.
I mean, offensive line, not so much. But in terms of weapons on offense, a lot of the guys are back. As a matter of fact, the only person out right now is Deshaun Jackson and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
But just to go back to what you were talking about with the Jalen Hurts situation, I would agree. I mean, I don't look at him and think, whoa, this guy could be a great quarterback. Unfortunately, I just don't think he's all that great of a passer. I think teams are going to figure him out. I mean, I look at him kind of how I look at some of the, like a Lamar Jackson, for example. I mean, sure, he's got wheels, but put him in a situation where he has to pass, not good. So, yeah, that's just my opinion. I don't look at him as that much different than a player like that. So,
well, I look at him different because I don't think he's even close to the same caliber as Lamar Jackson in terms of even running.
No.
Lamar is way better at running, let alone passing. But, I mean,
do you think...
It's frustrating because I feel like, the blame is being... They're looking for people to blame, and so Wentz is taking the fall. But really, it's a lot bigger than that. And I feel like it starts at the top with the coach, because we've got way too much talent to be scoring 17 points or 16 points. And if Jalen Hurts comes in here this week and we score 35 points and lose the game, then I will be the first one to say, okay, well, I guess it's just Wentz can't control the offense, but if we got the right person in here to run the offense, then we can. It's not Doug Peterson's play calling. But I am a firm believer that Doug Peterson play calling or lack of play calling is the biggest reason why we're not performing well. I don't think that you need to have the greatest quarterback ever to put a team on the field that can compete. And for the most part, we've proved that this year, because we've competed in most of our games, even though Wentz has not played well. And you take away some of his interceptions, maybe that's different. But if you also take away some of the number of times that he's thrown and include those with some rushes, maybe we wouldn't see as many mistakes. I feel like you're taking a quarterback who's struggling, and instead of saying, we're going to help you by running it more, we're going to say, well, we're going to have, they're saying, we're going to have you throw us out of it. Yeah, we're going to have you keep throwing it until you get it right. And that's not the strategy that needs to be on board here.
Yeah,
and Jalen
Hurts, like a team that's sitting at this table.
And Jalen Hurts coming in, who's not that great of a passer, to this situation where they don't run it enough and they're constantly throwing the ball. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just feel like it's just going to be a continuation of the same turnover. I mean, it really is. And it's upsetting because I'm a huge fan of Carson Wentz. And I just think I mean, obviously, like I said, I'm not trying to sit here and say he's played great or anything, but I'm just saying as a person, I think he's great. I think he's been a model quarterback in terms of keeping everything on the field. You don't hear about him for the wrong reasons. You don't hear him getting involved in just stupid stuff off the field, saying stupid things in the locker room or stupid things in the media. He's a model player for that. And so I respect him. I have one of his jerseys, obviously, and I think he's awesome. So it sucks to see the way that things are going with him right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's unfortunate because obviously with the way that he's played this year, so a lot of blame does deserve to go his way, but I don't think that he deserves to be benched over Jalen Hurts. I don't think we should even have Jalen Hurts on our team. I feel like if we would have took that pick where we picked Jalen Hurts and picked somebody like an offensive lineman or something that could have maybe made a difference, maybe we'd have a better team, or maybe another weapon on offense. We could have a better team, but instead we're sitting here with this guy who I believe, as much as I am a fan of Jalen Hurts coming from Alabama, and I want to see him do well, he's a guy that to me is going to be out of the league or not a quarterback in 2 years.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, I don't look at Jalen Hurts and think future franchise QB of the Eagles. Unfortunately for Bryson, because, you know, like he's a huge Jalen Hurts fan because he went to Alabama. But I just, you know, I don't look at him and think he's the answer for this team at QB. He could possibly be a good backup for a roster, but I just...
Yeah. I'm just not a fan of them benching Carson at this point in the season because I just feel like the season's over anyways, and I feel like if you changed up the play calling in order to help him who's struggling this year, we could easily be better.
Yeah.
We could easily be better. But they're not trying to help him. They're more content. And I feel like this is Doug Peterson is more content with letting him just take the fall for everything than actually trying to do things to help him out. And that's how I feel about it. I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like
exactly.
he's just like, oh, well, we're just going to let him keep throwing and keep struggling and not do anything to change.
Yeah.
And then we're going to sit here with our hands up like, oh, we don't understand what's happening. When I understand what's happening, he's struggling this year and he has no running game. And it's not necessarily even because that there is no running backs in the stable or nobody that can perform or an offensive line that's incapable of blocking. I've seen it. I've seen games where we can run the ball, but they don't do it enough. And a part of that is because we get behind by so much that we can't afford to run the ball because we're killing clock. So it's frustrating to see that, and I'm just not a fan of that at all.
I mean, it's literally the same situation with my team. You know, we have quality running backs. Joe Mixon, one of the best in the league. Gio, solid running back. But we constantly have situations where we got the quarterback throwing it 30 or 40 times a game. We don't need that. Especially when we got a player like Joe Burrow, who, you know, out for the season. Well, why do you think that is? He's throwing it pretty much every down of the game. I mean, the defense is going to get to him at some point. He's going to get hit.
Yeah.
And, I mean, when you got a running game, you're not necessarily going to be in situations as often where your quarterback is going to be having to run for his life.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, regardless, though, it's frustrating and it's tiresome, and I'm really just, you know, kind of depressed about the whole thing because I feel like he's a much better player than this, and it's just sad to see the way things have happened. And I don't believe, like I said before, that he's incapable of being the starting quarterback for this team. But now that they made this move, I don't see how he will be, because I feel like if he had any confidence or anything, it's just going to be ruined. And I feel like it's being ruined so that we can lose anyways.
Yeah.
So what the hell? I mean, we literally are going to lose anyways. We're going to lose to the Saints. We're going to lose. I don't care if it's Jalen Hurts, if it's Carson Wentz, if it's Nate Sudfeld, if it's Nick Foles, if it's, I mean, shoot, name it. We're going to lose this game. So it's just, I mean, why? Why? Why are we doing this? I don't understand. I wish Carson was starting. And honestly, I mean, you know, you might say, well, we have a better chance with Jalen in there because they don't have as much tape on him. Yeah, maybe that's true. But at the end of the day,
what are you playing for?
At the end of the day, we got a guy coming in here that's not a stellar passer, and he's the way that Doug Peterson is running this offense, he's going to be asked to throw it way more times than he ever had to in Oklahoma and especially in Alabama. And as a result, he's going to make mistakes, and we're just going to lose probably by even more than we would. And then people are going to be like, oh, wow, why did we draft him? Oh, right, we shouldn't have. And that's what I felt from the beginning. Even though, like I said, I'm a big fan of his, but I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of the way they've handled it. And I feel like this is just another way to divert people from looking at what I feel is the source of the issue, which is the head coach. I feel the head coach is the main issue on this team, specifically when it comes to play calling. So, I don't know. I feel like I said, this is just another diversion. Oh, no, don't look at me. Look at Carson Wentz. See, he's not playing. I benched him because he's the problem. Well, watch us come out and lose in the same fashion again this week because of the same stupid issues.
Fashion. Probably even worse fashion with Jalen Hurts starting, he has next to no experience.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's just frustrating, and I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be a pretty frustrating weekend, and truthfully, it should be. I mean, if we win this game, what's that going to do? Set us back even farther. So I can't honestly say that I hope we win this game, because I don't really know that I do.
I think you're kind of in the same boat as, I feel with my team.
And not just my team, and it's not just your team. It's the Broncos and the Lions.
Yeah,
we're all sitting here.
Win?
We're all sitting here saying, "What the hell?" I mean, this season's over, pretty much. So
yeah, why win?
It's frustrating, but it is what it is. I mean, I guess we'll just go ahead and cap the video off there. In closing, yeah, I think the Saints are going to win. I don't give the Eagles much of a chance.
Yeah.
But, whatever. We're at home. Hopefully they show up.
Yeah,
Hopefully they'll show up. So, I guess with that being said, we'll see what happens. Yeah. But this has been the Week 14 preview. If you guys like the content, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, all that happy stuff. And, yeah. My name's Bryson.
I'm Bennett.
See you guys in the next video.